Now we are supposed to do another instruction like the add instruction and write the control signals for the add instruction. Before we do that, I would like to say some two pointers about how to write the control signals. For one instruction like add R1, R2, R3 can take more than one clock cycles. This full instruction won't be executed in one clock cycle. It will take more than that. So, and in one clock cycle, like it may take 2 3 clock cycles to execute this add instruction, and in one clock cycle, more than one uh, this control signals can appear. For example, it can be R2 out can be there, then Y in can be there. There are two control signals in one of these clock cycles. And besides, the one important thing to note is that when you do this R2 out, the value in R2, the data in R2 is coming into the internal processing bus. So let's once more refer to the old diagram we had, and here is a diagram. So when you do R2 out, this the data in R2. Here there is R2. It will be in the internal processing bus. So if we do another out instruction for, let's say example, R4 out, or this MDR out or something like that, then two data from R2 and also the data from MDR comes into the same internal processing bus, but it can only hold the data from any one of these at the same time. So that will create an error. So in order to avoid that, in one clock cycle, in any one of these clock cycle, only one out should be there. But you can have more than one in. For example, if there is R2 out as we have here, we can have Y in. Then let's say we can have R3 in and R4 in and so on. This is not for add, but in general, if you want to input the value of R2 in R3 and R4, then you can do this. And Y also, it can happen like this. But if we write R5 out here, then it will create an error, because in the internal processing bus now R2's data and R5's data is there in the same time. That is not possible, and that will create an error. So keep those things in mind. And now we can write the control signals for this add R1, R2, R3. In the first clock cycle, in the execution of this instruction, the first control signal that will be given out is R2 out, and then Y in. Then in the second clock cycle, the things that are happening is R3 out, select Y, add, and Z in. Then we do in the third thing Z out and R1 in. Okay. So now you have seen this. Now let's go back to the old example, I mean our processor, and see how this will work out. So in the first clock cycle, it's R2 out and Y in. So from the R2, this it will come out into the internal processing bus and Y in. So it will come here inside Y. The whatever is in R2, it will be in Y. Now we have this R3 out. So whatever is in R3 is now in internal processing bus. Now what do we have? Select Y. Now what was the value there in Y? In the first clock cycle, we have put the value in R2 in Y. So now whatever is in Y, it will come through this multiplexer and into A. Now what do we have? Add. Now I told you here we have a connection from right from this internal processing bus into this leg B of the ALU. So when they see this add, what they'll do is we have selected Y. So Y will be in A, and whatever is in the internal processing bus right now, it is the value from R3. So this R3 will come to B, and what is the instruction we gave? Add. So the add instruction will be given from here. So the ALU will add A and B, and the value will be stored in Z in. So the value will be stored in Z. Now the Z has the value A plus B. That is R2 plus R3. Now what do we do? In the third clock pulse, we did Z out. So what happens? from the z, the value, the data, that sum will come into the internal processing bus. And after that we have the r1 in. Why? Because the original instruction was add, we have to store it in r1, right? So r1 in, and where does it go? It goes and stays in the register r1. The value in z, the sum, will go and stay in the register r1. So that's how we do add r1, r2, r3. Now I would like you to do sub r5, r1, r6. I would like you to try this out and check this solution among yourselves. Thank you.